You're not disrespected because they're bad people. You're disrespected because you're too easy to trigger. All it takes is one small comment, and you open the door to your mind. No force, no pressure. You do the hardest part for them. One subtle remark, you explain. One shift in tone, you overthink. One moment of silence, you start chasing clarity. And from that moment, the power is no longer yours. You think you're protecting your image, but really, you're proving that you need to be accepted. And the person who needs acceptance is always the easiest to control. Most people don't live, they react. Press the ego, they respond. Question them, they justify. Withdraw attention, they chase. Everything becomes predictable. And anything predictable can be controlled. You're not controlled because they're powerful. You're controlled because you react exactly how they expect. Law. Whoever controls your reactions controls your position. Look back. You were interrupted, so you tried harder to be heard. Someone gave you a compliment with a hidden edge. You still smiled. They replied with one dry message. You wrote 3 paragraphs back. You thought you were maintaining connection, but really, you were lowering your value. People don't measure you by what you say. They measure you by how you react when you're subtly disrespected. That's when they learn something about you. You're easy to pull, easy to affect, easy to lead, and everything they do after that is based on that data. You didn't notice it, but you trained them how to treat you. Machiavelli didn't teach people to speak better. He taught them to know when not to speak at all. Because the weak defend with words. The powerful define with silence. When you react, you validate them. When you explain, you give them authority. When you argue, you enter their frame. But when you stay silent, you erase them from your reality. Silence isn't avoidance. Silence is refusal. And here's what makes it dangerous. People can't handle that kind of invisible rejection. When you don't respond, they start reacting for you. Did they see it? Are they ignoring me? Did I go too far? Why are they so quiet? Meanwhile, you've already left the game. You don't win by reacting better. You win when they can't reach you at all. Law. Words create conflict. Silence creates obsession. But most people get this wrong. They think silence means disappearing, cutting off, avoiding, shutting down. That's not power. That's fear. Real control looks different. You stay in the game, but you stop playing on their timing. You're present, but not accessible. You respond, but not consistently. You show up, but never predictably. And that unpredictability creates value. You've felt it before. The person who's always available becomes ordinary. The one you can't fully read becomes important. Not because they give more, but because they don't give themselves away for free. What's always available gets consumed. What's selective gets respected. But when you change, people react. They say you've become different, colder, harder to deal with. Not because you got worse, but because you stopped feeding their emotional needs. You stopped over-explaining, stopped reacting on cue, stopped chasing their attention, and now they've lost control. People don't get uncomfortable because you changed. They get uncomfortable because they can't control you anymore. And then there's a moment where everything shifts. You don't announce it. You don't explain it. You just don't react. They push. You don't respond. They withdraw. You don't chase. They misunderstand you. You don't correct it. And suddenly, the balance flips. Because what they were attached to was never you. It was your reactions. This is the mid-trap, because now you start seeing clearly. Some people didn't value you. They valued their influence over you. They liked when you explained, liked when you reacted, liked when you needed their response to feel stable. You thought that was connection. It wasn't. It was a power structure. Some relationships don't end when love fades. They end when control disappears. Law. People stay where they have influence, not where they have responsibility. Now we go deeper. This is where it turns cold. When you become harder to read, people stop reacting. They start watching, measuring, waiting. Not everyone wants you to rise. Some people just want you manageable. And then comes the moment most people avoid. When you slow down, when you struggle, when your energy drops. That's when everything becomes clear. They see it. They understand it. They know exactly what's happening to you. They know you're slipping. They know you're under pressure. They know you need support. They could help, but they don't. Not because they don't see it, but because they see it too clearly. They knew you were slipping and chose not to stop it. You told yourself, maybe they didn't notice. Maybe they're busy. Maybe they don't realize how bad it is. No. Some people see everything. They just benefit from your decline. You become less intimidating, less pressure, less comparison. So they stay silent. They could have helped, but your fall benefited them more. This is the part nobody wants to accept. Not everyone around you wants you to win. They don't need to destroy you. They just need to step back. Half a step. No push, no help, just absence. And when you fall, it looks natural. They didn't betray you. They just stayed loyal to their own comfort. Watch carefully. When you're strong, everyone's fine. When you're weak, who's still there? Not who talks, who stays. Some people don't need to hurt you. They just need to watch you fall and feel relief. At this point, you start changing. You stop asking, why would they do this to me? And you start asking, what access did I give them to do it? That's where your power comes back. You stop needing to be understood. Stop correcting every narrative. Stop holding on to every connection. You start choosing. Who gets access to you? What deserves a reaction? When you speak, you don't become cold. You become precise. You don't feel less. You just get controlled less. La. Not everything that touches you deserves a response from you. Eventually, everything becomes clear. You stop arguing to win. You just leave conversations that require it. You stop trying to be liked. You stop being easy to trigger. You stop proving your value. You let your presence define it. Your silence starts carrying weight. Your absence starts being felt. You become hard to read and impossible to control. Here's the final truth. You didn't lose power because someone took it. You lost it. Every time you reacted too fast, every time you explained too much, and every time you kept people close who saw you struggling, understood your situation, could have helped, but chose to stay silent. They don't need to destroy you. They just need to watch you fall and feel nothing. So from now on, react less, explain less, open the door less. Let people sit in your silence. Let your distance define your standards. Let your restraint reveal your power. Because in a world where everyone is testing how easy you are to trigger, the most dangerous thing you can become is someone they can no longer reach. And when that happens, they won't say it out loud, but they'll feel it. They'll move differently around you, more careful, more aware, more uncertain. And you? You'll start seeing people for what they really are. And once you see that clearly, you won't be able to go back. And the next thing you're about to understand will make you see people in a way that's even colder.